Welcome back to Simple Truth. Hey, we're in the story of Joseph, and hopefully we're getting towards the end of this because this has been months and months and months of the story of Joseph. We're in Genesis chapter 43. I'm going to start reading until I get stuck, and so you can expect that will be short in nature. Here we go. Now the famine was severe in the land. Yep, you can get stuck right there, right? God had forecasted that there were going to be 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine, right? But in amongst that famine, in amongst that 7 years, the famine got more and more severe. Now that's pretty much just common sense, right? You go a year without food, that's one thing, but 2 or 3 or 4, and all of a sudden it's getting super severe, right? People are not able to find food. Right? I don't know if you have gone through those moments in life, those moments where you just can't find what you're looking for. You can't find it, right? You're looking and you're looking and you're looking, and it's nowhere to be found. And this is food, something that you need, something that you crave, something that you want, let alone all the extras, but just the flour, right? Just the oils, just the things to make bread and water. You can't find those things, right? So the famine gets severe. Do you know that God knows that sometimes when he allows those things to happen in our life, we react. It sets us into motion, right? We move towards him, right? Towards his plan for our life. The truth is, when we're in the years of plenty, and even when we're in the years of a little less or a little, right? We're okay. We can make it work. We can figure out when our bank account can do this and this and this and this and what we can and can't do. We just, we scrimp a little bit here, save a little bit there, do all those kind of things. But when it becomes severe, then for some reason it turns our face. It causes our face to look to God, right? And I wish it was the opposite way, right? I wish that we didn't have to let it get to those points. But God knows our nature. He knows that when there's years of plenty, we tend to walk away, that we tend to stop our Bible reading. We don't pray as much because, quite frankly, we get too busy doing, right? We get too busy doing church stuff, doing life stuff, using our gifts and talents, right? So every once in a while, God has to let the famine come. And every once in a while, God allows the famine to get a little severe because it turns our attention to him, right? To his plan. It sets the wheels in motion to people crying out to the Lord, people seeking the Lord, right? And again, this whole thing about Joseph is his plan. Now, again, Joseph is right where God said he would be. He's going to be second in command, right? Right underneath Pharaoh. His brothers have already been to him one time. People are already bowing down. People are already looking to him. That part of the dream has been fulfilled. But God's not just interested in that. God's interested in restoration. God's interested in his plan coming forth. You see, God had already told Abraham, hey, here's what's going to happen. Your people are going to go to a land. They're going to be servants. They're going to be slaves. They're going to be oppressed. And then they're going to come out. Well, but God's people aren't in Egypt yet. Joseph is, but the rest of his family, and most importantly, Jacob, right? He's not there. And that's been part of the promise. That's part of what God said was going to happen. So he allows the famine to happen. Why? Because it motivates and it moves us towards his plan. So you could stop there and you can look at your life and you could say, what is God allowing to happen in your life that's going to move you towards what he has for you? Right? Towards the promises that he has for you. I think the problem is most of us would be willing to settle somewhere along the line for less than the promises that God has for us. Right? My good friend Robbie was just giving this really cool sermon on beta and alpha males and how we need to wait for the people that represent Jesus. When you're looking to team up with somebody, whether that's marriage or whether that's friendship or work or whatever it is, wait, hold out, find the people that represent Jesus. Find the people that look like Jesus. Team up with them. But somewhere along the line, we start thinking, well, I could settle for half of Jesus, a quarter of Jesus, a third of Jesus. Man, this guy's got everything except for Jesus. right? Well, if he's got everything except for Jesus, or she's got everything except for Jesus, then they don't have everything, right? So again, we look to things, we say, this job is my dream job. And when you say, oh, right, does it have Jesus? Well, no, but we settle, right? We settle somewhere along the line, and we're not going towards the promises of God. Sometimes God lets us just settle right there, right? There's a great example of that with the Israelites. 12 tribes were supposed to go over to the promised land. 2.5 of them, 2.5 tribes, decided to stay on the other side of the Jordan. That's not where God promised them. That's not what God said that they would have. God told them to go across the Jordan and to inhabit the promised land. Do you know some of the consequence that the Israelites faced at not ever being able to capture and inhabit the entire land was because 2.5 tribes stayed on the other side? That's a lot of people that could have been inhabiting a land, but they chose to stay on this side. It's good enough for us, is what they said. It's got everything that we need. That's not where we want to be. We want to be on the proper side of what God has called us to, right? We wait, and when we know, we don't settle for any reason. And the enemy will put those reasons out in front of us, left, right, and in the middle. Man, he will put them all over the place. Be like, why would you wait for this? Why would you wait for that? Why would you wait for a person like this when you can have a person like this? Right? Those things become important. Don't let go of the promises of God for the compromises of the enemy. That's important. And God knows that famines, severe famines, they motivate us to study. They motivate us to seek. They motivate us to pray. They motivate us to find people. They motivate us to find the people of God. They motivate us to get moving. And when we're moving, well, then we may just run into God. Right? So my challenge to you would be pretty simple today, because I only got through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words, right? My challenge to you would be, first, don't wait for the famine to get severe to do those things, to seek God. But if you are finding yourself in the midst of a famine that is increasingly getting severe, then maybe you should be looking to God for what he's trying to do in your life and where he's trying to move you and how he's trying to motivate you, right? And maybe rather than sitting around moping about the famine, start figuring out where God is in the famine. Hey, see you next time. Simple truth.